Ferrari finally opened a new chapter in the 2026 Formula One era by unveiling the SF-26 to the public. However, from the moment the car's wheels first touched the Fiorano asphalt, one impression was immediately clear. Ferrari was playing it safe, even cautious, at a crucial moment for its future in Formula One. Expectations for Ferrari in 2026 were at an almost unreasonable level. New regulations, a new engine, a new aerodynamic philosophy, and the presence of Lewis Hamilton had the public expecting Ferrari to immediately emerge as a serious title contender. However, from the start, Ferrari itself tried to lower those expectations. They openly stated that the SF-26 currently on display was still an early version, or what they called Spec A, a car specifically designed to ensure all systems were working properly before truly pursuing performance. That's why the moment Lewis Hamilton was seen stopping in the middle of the road immediately sparked excessive protests. In the age of social media, a few seconds of video footage is enough to build a grand narrative, and for Ferrari, that narrative quickly turned into speculation about a crisis. The car stalled, Hamilton appeared to be struggling, and his awkward position near the pit entry led many to immediately attribute it to a reliability failure. But the truth behind the scenes was much simpler. Ferrari wasn't experiencing any technical issues, no components were failing, and there were no major alarms in the garage. It was all purely part of a very strict mileage management system. With a 15-kilometer limit, every meter was crucial. Hamilton ran a predetermined program, made a practice start, and then stopped the car to allow Charles Leclerc to get his scheduled laps. The difference in Ferrari's approach to Mercedes was immediately apparent at this point. Mercedes chose to open the new era with complete confidence, running the W7 for 200 kilometers without any significant interruptions. Ferrari, on the other hand, chose a conservative approach, gathering data gradually and refraining from showing its true cards too soon. Conceptually, the SF-26 was a completely different car from Ferrari's previous ground effect era. Ferrari called it a total reset, not an evolution. This philosophy was evident in almost every detail of its design. The body lines were made cleaner, the bodywork area was narrowed as much as possible, and a major focus was placed on energy efficiency, something that would be crucial in the era of 50% combustion engine and 50% electric power distribution. The car's livery also seemed to carry a symbolic message. The dominance of white amidst Ferrari's signature red wasn't just aesthetic, but an attempt to connect the past and the future. However, for some longtime Ferrari fans, this combination actually evoked old trauma, reminding them of a difficult era when Ferrari failed to compete at the highest level. On the technical side, the comparison with Mercedes was very interesting. Ferrari opted for a simpler front wing design, with minimal additional elements, while Mercedes went with far more complex details. The Ferrari's nose was larger and more conservative, with undercuts that didn't seek out its rivals. This suggested that Ferrari was perhaps still playing it safe in managing airflow to the car's floor. The difference in philosophy was even more evident in the cooling area. Ferrari used a much smaller airbox but larger side pods, an approach that potentially improved thermal stability but perhaps compromised aerodynamics. Mercedes opted for the opposite, allowing for a large airbox and packing the side pods as tightly as possible, in pursuit of efficient airflow at the rear of the car. Another eye-catching detail is the serrated shark fin on the SF-26 engine cover and the return of pushrod rear suspension, something Ferrari had long abandoned. This suggests that Ferrari doesn't need to regress to old concepts if they feel they better suit the demands of the new regulations. However, analysts agree that the car doesn't yet offer anything truly revolutionary. The SF-26 looks sleek, visually mature, but doesn't really surprise. And that can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, Ferrari is avoiding major risks. On the other, new eras in F1 are often won by teams that dare to take extreme measures from the outset. Ferrari itself recognizes that 2026 isn't about who's fastest at the shakedown, but rather who learns and improves the quickest. That's why they delayed the car's debut as long as possible, spent development time at the factory, and came to the Barcelona test primarily focused on gathering data, not setting the fastest time. A major new upgrade package will appear in Bahrain, and even after that, Ferrari wants to keep its full desire to change the development direction if necessary. This approach could be read as a lack of faith in the underlying concept, but it could also be seen as a reflection of maturity from a team that had too often been stuck in technical dead ends in the past. Amidst all this, the spotlight on Lewis Hamilton never truly subsided. The 2025 season was a major blemish on his career, and at 41 years old, every mistake seemed even more significant. The new regulations offered the hope of a complete reset, a chance to leave behind the ground effect characteristics of the cars that had hampered him so far. Hamilton himself admitted that the changes in 2026 were so significant that they would almost force all drivers to start from scratch. But Formula One isn't just about driver adaptation. It's also about how willing a team is to adapt to its drivers' needs. And herein lies the biggest question. Is Ferrari ready to shape the direction of car development for Hamilton, or will it continue to prioritize Charles Leclerc as the centerpiece of its long-term project? The change in race engineer may give Hamilton a new perspective, but the core challenge remains the same. Leclerc is now in the mature phase of his career, fast, consistent, and increasingly well-rounded as a driver. If the SF-26 develops into a championship-winning car, many believe Leclerc is best equipped to maximize it. Added to this strong indication that Mercedes has a power unit advantage, Ferrari is in a position where they can't afford to make a mistake. Every development decision, every philosophical direction, will determine whether they return to being title contenders or find themselves stuck in a gray area. Ferrari is entering the 2026 season cautiously, with no big promises or bombastic claims. The SF-26 may not have wowed the world yet, but Ferrari seems to prefer building a solid foundation rather than stealing the spotlight too early. Whether this approach will pay off, or will leave them behind again, only time and the pace of development will tell. One thing is certain, a new era of Formula One has begun, and for Ferrari, this is more than just another season. It's a test of whether they have truly learned from past failures, or will once again allow history to repeat itself.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe